Hello and welcome to episode 197 of the official EstablishTheRun.com podcast. My name is Adam Levitan. I am one of the co-founders here at ETR, and we are entering the full-blown MLC, aka midlife crisis stage. Yes, that's right. Every single podcast I've done, producer Luke and I have now done 515 podcasts together. Every one has been from the desk I'm sitting at now in downtown Philadelphia. Next solo pod I do, however, will come to you from the suburbs of Denver. Bittersweet times. We'll get to that in a minute here. The plan today is to get one thing off my chest about sports betting, quickly preview my tennis bet against Michael Levy coming up on Friday. Then I'm going to take a bunch of questions about moving and anything else. Before we get into it, wanted to remind everyone that this show is indeed brought to you by our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. Best way to get ready for DFS season is to do a ton of real money best ball drafts. Just forces you to be on top of your game and to understand market dynamics. Best app for it is Underdog by far. Remember that all subscribers to our draft kit, which costs $35, or subscribers to our bundle, which for a limited time is $229, you will get $10 free on Underdog. If you're new to Underdog, you get an additional $25 on top of the 10 for a total of 35. All right. Wanted to address a couple of sports betting topics quickly. I hope many of you listened to episode 191 with Taylor Cabey. As I listened back, I realized I was probably too harsh on a couple sports betting things, and I wanted to clarify it. So you guys know me, right? Like, I am a sick puppy. I cannot take the worst of it when it comes to gambling, or at least knowingly I can't take the worst of it when it comes to gambling. I just can't. Like, I physically feel sick. Not only does playing roulette or blackjack or slot machines make me feel ill, but just like watching my friends mosh around in the pit and play games like that makes me sick as well. And I'm not saying this is healthy or right. I do think that it's something that has helped me the last, 20 years or whatever so that I've been gambling. But like, not only do I not waste a single penny on anything negative EV, but I also grind my dick off to make sure that when I do get my money in, I'm getting it in good. The problem is that I'm so twisted and deranged from what I just previously said, is that I fail to see sports betting from other people's point of view. Like, it can literally just be fun. Full stop. Like, betting on a game in liquid markets at the closing line is literally a 50-50 coin flip, and you pay the juice. So you're going to lose a little bit in the long run. And it's fun, and it's incredibly easy. It's not a lot of work like DFS. And I honestly fail to get that a lot, that whole like fun aspect. Yeah, it's negative EV, but I'm having fun. Like, it just doesn't resonate with me, but I know that it does for a lot of people. What really tilts me to the moon, though, and what I was trying to say on the podcast with Taylor, the point I was trying to make is that these frauds claiming they can beat NFL markets, on Twitter and trying to sell picks or whatever, that's the stuff that tilts me to the moon. I think, though, that we at Establish the Run, I think we can thread the needle, though, like make betting stuff free. Tell people we're not beating the market, but we're having fun, and we're going to do a free show where Silva and I talk about the games from a betting angle each week. And don't get me wrong, like, it is fun. Like, betting on NFL games is fun. And I know the audience absolutely demands it, and I get it. So bottom line, I'm going to try to do a better job of accepting that there's more to gambling than winning. I hope that makes sense. Happy to answer any more questions on that. If you're an ETR person, hopefully you're in the Discord, and feel free to hit me up there. Okay. On the tennis match coming up Friday. So Friday will be my third tennis bet. And by the way, I'm not really a tennis player. Like, I played as a young kid. When I came home from summers at Penn State, my summer job was coaching little kids in tennis. I played one season of high school tennis, but I quit after that because I was very into basketball, and we played spring ball and summer ball and for the high school. But I just really like tennis. Like, it's one of the only sports where you can't bitch at the refs for the most part. You can't blame anyone else. It's just you and the opponent in a mostly physical, but also mental warfare. It's just such a great game. It takes skill. It takes heart. It takes power. It takes strategy. But anyway, the first tennis bet I did a few years ago was against Steve Bass, former #1 at Notre Dame. He played with a frying pan. I played with my racket. Really brutal match. I mean, the points were so long. He's just in ridiculous physical and mental condition. I won the first set 6-2. I had 4 match points in the second set. I choked those off. And then I got absolutely steamrolled in the third set. Like, I literally just couldn't move. I was in pain after that match for multiple days. Just couldn't move. The second bet that I did was against Brandon Adams. You guys probably know Brandon from Poker and DFS. He had seen the frying pan match and wanted to play me. We played in Vegas in July on the roof of the Cosmo. It was like 100 and something, but it felt so good up there. I only had to win 3. I think I had to win 3 games or 4 games across 2 sets in order to win the bet. I don't remember what it was, but I was able to get it done for the W there. This match on Friday against Mike Levy. He came on the pod in episode 167 if you want to know more about him. The thing about this one is, I mean, I have absolutely no clue whatsoever how athletic he is, how good he is, how much heart he has. We had a third party set the line, shout out mostly to Ryan Dowd who did it. I'm basically getting a 30 love lead in half the games and a 15 love lead in the other half. So obviously, like, this goes against what I just said. I could definitely be getting it in bad here. It could definitely be a negative EV bet for me. But when it comes to physical bets like this, it's just so good for me. Like, I've been outside playing tennis, playing incredibly hard, 2-3 times a week for the last 2 months last 2 months or so. Feels great. My mood is better. I'm motivated to eat better. There's just countless benefits. So even if I lose, even if I got it in bad here, it's okay. But we'll see. I think I should be in decent shape to win this match. I don't know. I don't know if he's prepared for how hard I'm going to play. Like, I would rather kill my sister than let the ball bounce twice in front of me, just all heart, baby. So we'll see. By the way, I know a lot of people are betting on this. We're working on getting a stream set up. I think it's going to be successful, the stream. If it is, it will be on the ETR YouTube channel. Be sure you're subscribed there for details. Should be Friday. It's going to be Friday around 11 a.m. All right. Enough's enough. It is time for everyone's favorite portion of the program. Producer Luke, hit the theme music. All right. Thank you for all the questions. Appreciate it as always. Going to do 9 of them today. Question 1 from Wenny. He says, why are you moving to Denver? And 1B from Mike. He said, update us on the move to Denver and the thesis behind the play. Yeah, so these guys are referring to our impending move. After 17 years of living in the city of Philadelphia, I am moving to the suburbs of Denver. We're leaving June 30th or so, just a couple weeks from now. It's tough, man. It's tougher than I thought it was going to be. My parents live in DC. My wife's parents live in Philly. I mean, I grew up in Virginia, but I basically grew up in Philly. I mean, I met my wife here when we were 22. I'm 38 now. 95% of my friends are in Philly. A lot of them I've known for 20 years from when I was at Penn State. It's tough and it's sad for sure to leave. But I think just because something is hard doesn't mean that it's not right. So I think we can say that about a lot of things in life. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not right. So with this, people are always asking me, people are just floored. They're like, well, why are you moving? Honestly, it's complicated, but the bottom line, at least at a macro level, is just we and really I desperately needed a change. And maybe I'm going through a full-blown MLC. I don't know, but only living in the northeast part of the country for my entire life, I don't know. It just didn't seem right. And I was just really feeling bored a lot, just craving something new. So just starting fresh with a whole new life, it just seems right. And then on a more micro level, look, it's obviously really easy to make a case for moving west. The weather here on the East Coast is, just dreadful. It's so unbearably hot and humid in the summer. It's so dreary and cold in the winter. It's expensive. I'm not really sure for what exactly, but the Northeast is expensive. It feels like a rat race on the whole money side of things. And maybe I'm naive. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe it's silly, but I hope that it's not like that in Colorado, where everybody's just like trying to climb the corporate ladder at all costs and, be the next VP of whatever at some big company. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's wishful thinking and it's like that everywhere, but we'll see. One thing that's indisputable, man. I mean, I think people are oddly angry on the East Coast. Like, obviously not everyone. I know a lot of people around here that aren't angry, but generally speaking, I mean, people are just always pissed off. It's crazy. You can just feel it everywhere you go. I'm really not sure why, but it's like so striking when you go somewhere else, Midwest, West Coast, South. I've been dealing with so many people out in Colorado as we're trying to get set up with all kinds of different things for the house and all kinds of mortgage. I mean, everybody's just so nice. Everybody just seems so much happier. And then the big thing that I think is undisputable too, and is prioritizing outdoors. As I've gotten older, I found really that time spent outside correlates really strongly with happiness. And I think being part of a community or a culture that emphasizes outdoor activity is good for me. And more importantly, I think it's just better for our kids. We have 2 right now. They're 6 and 3. So I think it'll be a good place or better place for them to grow up. But honestly, I don't know, man. I don't. I mean, that's part of this thing that is exciting. I made maybe 4 trips in my life to Denver. I've never spent 1 second in the town we're moving to. It could be the wrong play. But if I try to live by the deathbed theorem, which I do, I know that if I'm on my deathbed, I would regret not trying it because it's easy to just stay where we are and continue with like this mindless trek towards death. So I don't think we'll be back. Like, I don't think we'll be back on the East Coast. I think this is right. I think this is going to work out, but nothing is permanent, man. Can always move again. So I don't know. I know that was long. It's just, yeah, I know people are kind of fascinated by it. I guess it's not that normal or it's somewhat rare for someone who to kind of leave where they've been their whole life at age 38, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. Question 2 from 12 Fluid. He said, why is there a capacity placed on GPPs and DFS? I understand the logic for game selection purposes, but in the largest fields, aka lotteries, why not keep it open and have the prize pool continue to expand along with the number of entrants, just like poker and actual lotteries? Yeah, it's just the law. The law is written like that. They must state how much the prize pool is going to be before the tournament starts to fill. And obviously, we better for the sites, like they would prefer to have them grow with demand, have the tournaments grow with demand. But, they end up eating overlay, and it's good for us. They end up eating overlay. Sometimes when it doesn't fill as expected, they just have to eat it. And it works the other way. Sometimes tournaments fill too easy, too early, and people who want to play them get shut up. So yeah, it's just the law. I don't think it's a great law. I'm not sure exactly why, but it is. Question 3 is from What's Up? He says, why doesn't DK Sportsbook allow for player versus player tournaments or even multiple player tournaments? Seems like low hanging fruit to combine the ability to create these with DK Sportsbook. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to here, but yes, I do think the whole idea of peer-to-peer betting rather than straight betting against Can-Be traders or SB Tech traders or whoever is a good one, at least for consumers. In other words, like, let's play a tournament where whoever picks the most games against the spread right in week 1 wins the money. Like, I think eventually that stuff is a no-brainer to happen. But in the meantime, I'm actually really excited about the Super Contest and Survivor stuff DraftKings is running for NFL. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but they announced big contests for Super Contest and Survivor. Super Contest is so fun. It's just you pick 5 games against the spread each week. Whoever's the best record at the end of the year wins the money. The Westgate started this and we've been running this for, 20 years. I did the Westgate one with 2 of my friends a couple of years ago. A few years ago, maybe. We had, a great run. We finished in the top 40. It was so fun. It's kind of part football, part game theory, part understanding line moves. It's really, really interesting. And we're going to have a bunch of content this year in our in-season package for the Super Contest and the Survivor stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I'm excited about it. Question 4 from Sharp Boomer. He says, what percentage of the top gambling pros in poker and sports betting do you think have some sort of gambling addiction? Maybe this is tough to define or quantify, but I always wondered how much of those guys' success is discipline and bankroll management versus skill edge. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a thin line. I think in order to be really world-class level at something competitive like poker or DFS, you need to be absolutely addicted to it, like absolutely obsessed with it 24/7. I know for me personally, like I am fucked up. Like I have no emotion whatsoever. You know, people in my life die, people have kids, you know, people get angry, other people get sad, they get happy, they feel joy. I just feel nothing. Like it's really weird. Um, I honestly don't know if it's from playing poker and DFS like every day for the last, I don't know, 17 years or whatever, or it was just, I was just born like this. But, you know, my therapist would obviously say that it's because of having like the right mental game for gambling is eliminating emotion. And I've kind of trained my body to do this, or my mind to do this. But yeah, as I kind of mentioned before, I get bored incredibly easy. It's really bad. Like I can't just fucking like watch my kid at the playground. I can't just take them to Disney on Ice without feeling this overwhelming feeling of stone boredom. And maybe that's related to gambling. Like playing high stakes is not something I find boring. I still love it even after all this time. So is that addiction? I don't know. Maybe. I've just rationalized it for a long time as like, hey, I need to play to support myself and my family. I need to play bigger. Obviously, like there's emotional consequences that come with that. So I don't know if that answered the question, Sharp Boomer, but yeah, I hope that helps. Question 5 from Connor. He says, am I getting positive EV by not being on the hashtag team with my girlfriend Saturday and Sunday because I'm locked into NFL DFS and Shefty bombs? My ROI took a hit last season due to me doing the opposite. Love the haircut, man. Yeah. I get it, man. I do. I'll tell you what's worked for me with NFL weekends. So by the time Friday night comes around, I have a really good feel for the slate. Feel really good about understanding the slate and the dynamics of it and the context of it as a whole. But there's still a bunch of questions up in the air. Guys are going to get scratched and hurt, and there's guys that are questionable game time decisions. So I don't even make lineups on Friday. You know, no shells or anything ridiculous like that. Saturday, I have alerts on my phone for tweets from Schefter and Rap Sheet, but I'm not in front of the CPU. I'm not making lineups. I'm not doing any of that. I'm with the kids. You know, I'm pretending to be a good dad. Saturday night, I'm trying to get on the hashtag team ob. So basically, all day Saturday, we are doing the quote unquote right thing for relationships. But then I wake up very early Sunday, usually like 6 a.m. Eastern or so, and I get to the office by 7. That would give me like 6 hours until lock, completely uninterrupted. And I think that was good for DFS and hopefully good for relationships too. Is morning intercourse on Sunday out? You know, is brunch with some mimosas on pancakes out? Yeah, those things are out. But, you know, we're only really talking 17. I guess 18 now. It's so annoying. But yeah, now 18 Sundays a year. I think we can do that. I think we can sacrifice 18 Sundays a year. Question 6 from Talbs. He says, if you had to pick 3 other places besides Philly or Denver to live, where would you go? I know you mentioned spots in Florida previously. Anywhere else? Yeah, so 2 other places we considered were the Miami area and the Southern California area. I really like both. My wife is convinced Miami is going to be underwater in the next decade and is afraid of hurricanes and all that. So that got nixed. Southern California, I don't know. It just seems so insanely expensive that it's tough for like a high volume of normal people to live there. And that doesn't seem great either. Even though I like LA and San Diego, I mean, a ton. I've spent a lot of time in both and I love them both. I think they're both amazing places. I also think there's like a lot of smaller towns that are really good. Not necessarily like in cities or in suburbs of cities. Like I just haven't spent a lot of time in them or looking at them. Like Santa Barbara in California, I only spent a couple of days there, but it seems awesome. Seems like an awesome place to live. But I don't really know. Scottsdale in Arizona, I thought was awesome. Like some of the Florida beach towns, Sarasota. I don't know. There's probably a lot of merit in that kind of setup too. But, you know, bottom line is we have an amazing, amazing country. Like there's really so many incredible places to live. And that's the thing about staying in one spot for my entire life. It just didn't seem to make sense to me. Question 7 from Greg. He says, what's the story behind the 3 Donkeys podcast ending? And will you feature Bales and Peter on any podcast? Yeah, I mean, there's no story really. I mean, I wouldn't even really call the Three Donkeys a show or a podcast. Literally, me and Bales and Peter would just turn on the mics with zero plan and just fuck around for an hour. Like, it was fun while we were doing labs. Obviously, things got more serious and corporate after the Action Network acquisition. We talked about 6, 12, 18, 24 a lot. That bet that Bales did a bunch, and as part of that, we talked about masturbation a lot. And they were all funny jokes, I thought. But, that was like right at the time when Labs was getting acquired by, or had been acquired by Action. And I don't think, a company that would eventually be acquired for 240 million as Action was too into it. But I don't know. And obviously great decision by them. I mean, my God, everyone at Action did an incredible job going from startup to $240 million acquisition in like 4 years. I mean, shout out to them. Just big time crazy. But yeah, Peter and Bales are launching their new project soon. Lucky Trader, I'm obviously involved a little there. So I'll be doing some more fun stuff with them in a little, nothing as fun as 6, 12, 18, 24 bet, but still fun. Question 8 from Jesse. He says, big plans for the last team sex and Philly got to go big, right? Yeah, we just threw ourselves a going away party last Saturday night over at Old City Beer Garden. It was great. Got to see a bunch of people that I normally only see or would see at weddings and funerals. So it was good, man. It was good. I actually woke up at 5 a.m. That night or morning, just puking like massively. And I never throw up. I mean, ever. And I just hate alcohol so much. But yeah, it was a good party for sure. Good ending. All right, last question we're going to do today comes from friend of the show, editor of the seminal novel of our generation, Skins of Fur. It is Jeff Edelstein. He says, how worried are you about pizza and Chinese food moving to Denver? Yeah, a lot of people asked what I will miss most about Philly. Other than my friends and family, it's undoubtedly the food. Like, I've traveled a decent amount and I really think that Philly has some of the best food in the world. Like, really does. Every ethnicity, anything you can imagine, casual, like total shitbag, hole in the wall with amazing food, really nice fine dining, fast casual. I mean, everything. I'll put together a best of list for Philly before I leave, and I'll tweet it out in case people care. But yeah, I think the food in the Denver area is going to be a huge downgrade. I mean, massive one. But that's okay. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to starting from scratch in terms of restaurants and places to eat and just going on a hunt for the best places. Already made a deal with my kids. We're going to try a different pizza place each week for the first year, rank them all 1 to 10, see what's best. Same with bagel shops. We got to get our bacon, egg, and cheese in on a bagel. Bottom line, though, in terms of like the whole eating thing is like, I feel best and healthiest when we're cooking a lot and more specifically, like just grilling a lot. Take some protein, fish or steak or chicken or whatever, grill it simply, add a vegetable, add a carb, and that's when I feel strongest. Oh, actually, one more question. I said that was the last one. This will be the last one here. Question 10 from Mile High DFS. He says, are the GenderLabs LLC headquarters moving to Denver as well? And if so, will you be running any trials to test the effect of the altitude on sexual performance and the likelihood of conception? Signed and interested Denver native. Yeah, good question. So we've all heard about the alleged effects of the altitude. Like, guys can't breathe. They have oxygen tanks on the sidelines at Broncos games. The Nuggets have this ridiculous home record against teams playing on back-to-backs. I get it. And we're going to run the sims and we're going to get the data. We will. The R&D team at GenderLabs LLC, aka Gender Consultants, is just incredibly backed up right now with various COVID data that we're processing. But the general thought on the altitude thing from our team is that the thinner air will allow sperm to fly further and with more velocity, much like a golfer who hits at 270 normally, hitting at 300 in Denver. So I don't want to give away too much proprietary data here in fairness to our clients. But basically, if we want a female, we're going to have to throttle it back here on the launch angle and on the exit velocity when you're at altitude. But, for Mile High DFS, once I'm out there, I'm happy to come by. I'll give you a discount on an in-home consultation because you are a pod listener. So I appreciate the question. All right. that is going to do it for this final solo pod ever from here in Philadelphia. I appreciate all the support, appreciate the kind words, appreciate the well wishes. Really do appreciate it and hope you guys are all well. Be back on Thursday with Silva and Chris Allen to talk about some specific weather things. People are always panicking about the weather on Sunday morning. I think it's a good idea to get out in front of it this year. Chris specializes in that. I'm looking forward to that on Thursday. Check it out. And I hope to see you on YouTube for the tennis match too. Win or lose, should be fun. Head to our YouTube page. Subscribe there. You'll be notified when we go live around 11 a.m. on Friday. If you're a subscriber, be sure you're in the Discord too. It's free. A lot of people talking. There's a lot of actually really good value going on in the Discord. All right. For producer Luke, for Jerry, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.